So now we should do analysis of demand and supply. That's application number 2. Analysis of demand and supply. Now, in the analysis of demand and supply, I don't need to emphasize so much because if you are doing economics, you have done economics, so you understand the meaning of the word demand, the word supply, and where the two meet, it's called equilibrium point. So we want just to be able to know how to solve the equations at equilibrium point. So my agenda here is just to solve equations. So straight on in the handout that we have been using, there is a question number. That question was for which year? Look at it. Look at it. I get my copy. That question was tested in December 2014 as question 1C. December 2014, question 1C. Then you are told to get the equilibrium point, so you proceed like this. At equilibrium points, demand is equal to supply. Now for product A, we have 1500 minus 4QA minus 3QB should be equal to 400 plus 3QA plus QB. We now put right terms together. So this A crosses to join this one so that you are left with minus 7QA. This B and this joins, we are left with minus 4QB. And this 1500 and this 400 join, we are left with minus 1100. And that is equation 1. So, we do the same 700 here, minus QA minus 2QB equals 200 plus QA plus QB. So this becomes minus 2QA minus 3QB is equals to minus 500. That is equation number 2. Now with that, we proceed and say matrices. Matrices will be minus 7, minus 4, minus 2, and minus 3 multiplied by QA, QB. equals to minus 1100 minus 500. Then on solving, we are left with QA, QB. Si hapo utaendelea kuendelea nipatie the answers. When you solve, this one should be 100 as well as this one. That's all. Okay. Then if you have gotten that, then the price of A, take note this, you check it out. The price of A, you now take this equation for A, which is 1500 minus 4 times 100 minus 3 times 100. And the price of B at equilibrium point is, you take this other one equation, which is 700 minus 100 minus 2 times 100. Yeah, so that is how you get it as the price.
This is the first question. Okay.
So from there, let's now proceed to the next application. The next application, number 3, which is called input output. Some people call it Leontief's analysis. Leontief's analysis. Leontief's analysis. Now, as you already have the notes, I'll just very quickly introduce the area. And this is a technique that we use to study the interdependence among sectors in an economy. And the big question about the interdependence is, where does a sector get its inputs from and the quantities of those inputs? The second question is, how is the output from a sector used? As in, who uses that and what quantity does that user use? In that case, then, when we talk about usage, we have 2 types of demands. There is what we call intermediate, or the inter-industry, or the intern. That is the one that is used by the industries themselves in the economy. Then we also have what we call the final demand. That is what is used by the final consumers. These are persons who are not directly involved in the production. There are 2 versions in which these questions can be presented. One version is when you are given the total figures. The other version is when you are given the ratios for one unit. And we are going to have a question that illustrates that. So I think more of the explanations can be best done and understood when we have a question at hand. So I want to refer us to page number 2 of our questions. Page number 2 of our questions. That's what we shall do. Whereby we have the question of June 2006, question 2. June 2006, question 2. We are given that data, and now we are told the output level for each section or sector if the final demand for agriculture increased by 1,000. That of manufacturing falls by 500. That of mining remains. Now, maybe I want us to start with something we call transactions table. Transactions table. So here we have intermediate demand that is normally represented by A, that is, or maybe let me put it in a better way. We have agriculture, so this is final demand, which is Y. I've gotten it the way I want it. So here we have the users. This is called intermediate demand. Intermediate demand, which is represented by matrix A. We have mining here. We have manufacturing. And this is consumer. the final customer. So these are details. This is agriculture. So current. So sasa, as I said, this one is the output. When you are following this, you can talk of the output. And then these ones, when you are going downwards, these are inputs. I told you there are two versions in which the question can be presented to you by the examiner. The first version is the one that we already have here of the totals. So these totals, utaandika hapa ni 20,000, as you can see there. This other one is that 2,500. This other one is that 7,500. And this one is 10,000. Now, these three, you can see they are what we are calling intermediate demand, represented by matrix A. And this one is what we call final demand, represented by matrix Y. So when you want to get the total output, it is matrix A plus Y. So chukua calculator, they appear these four. They are equal to what? $100,000. The next one, we do the same. You put 30,000, 65,000, 37,500, and 30,000. $162,500. Then 40,000, 32,500, 12,500, and 40,000. $125,000. That is how you get the total output when you're given in totals. Sasa, I have said when you go column-wise, these are inputs. So when you add these three, they give us secondary. So give me this plus this plus this. This? 90,000, eh? Give me this for mining. $130,000. Give me this. $87,500. Sasa, one of the assumptions that you see in your notes is that there are no returns to scale. The meaning of that is that the exact input you put in will be the exact output. In other words, what you put in is exactly what you get out. So if that is what we got out, it means in agriculture, we had an input of what? 100. So put 100 here for the total. And then for huyu mwingine, we had 162,500. And then huyu, we had 125,000. That's the meaning of that assumption. That demand is equal to supply, or output is equal to input. Then, if you look at what I have here, these inputs, they are divided into two. There is what we call secondary and what we call primary. The total, the two of them gives us the total. So if secondary is 90 and total is 100, it means that primary is what? 10. And using the same concept, this is that 2 what? 500. And this is 25 plus 12, that's 7,500. So if you find a question that has been presented in terms of totals, that is how to go about it. The second version is where you are presented with ratios. Ratios are expressed on one basis, one unit basis. These ones, look here, like now this one, it is the output from agriculture that is required by agriculture so that agriculture can produce 100. So hiyo imepeanwa in total. But if you are given per one, unaambiwa this is what we require from agriculture for agriculture to make 1 unit. That's now what I'm calling ratios. The formula is slightly different. Or you are given the totals, but you are told there is a change in this total, in this final demand. If there is a change, like now this question the way it has been presented, now to get your X, you use a different formula. To get your X, you use a different formula, which now we are going to say, or before we do that, let's prepare something called technological coefficients matrix. Technological coefficients matrix. Now this matrix for the purposes of fitting my space, this is how we are going to design it. It's called matrix A. So this matrix A, we have agriculture here, we have mining here, and we have manufacturing. Then here I have agriculture, I have mining, and I have manufacturing. So first of all, look at the design. So I've already told you that these ones are totals. So if you want to express per one, what you do, you go to that column. You see, you go to column 1. You divide by the total of row 1. The values in column 1 are divided by the total of row 1. So this will be 20, you divide by 100. 30, you divide by 100. And 40, you divide by what? 100. So the answer here will be 0.4, this will be 0.3, and this will be 0.2. Then you go to the second column. The values in the second column are that 2.5, followed by 65, followed by that 2. Now, the values of the second column are divided by the total of the second row. So the total of the second row is 162.5. The answers or overhead. Ya kwanza ni ngapi? 0.2. So this then should be 0.4, and 0.2. Then the total of the third column, the values of the third column, which are 37.5, 37.5, and 12.5, they are divided by the total of the third row. The total of the third row, which is what? 125. So again, give me the values here. 0.3, 0.3, and 0. What? 1. Yes, tengeneza. That's now what we call technological coefficients matrix A. That is how it is prepared. Okay. After the changes, now, if you are looking for x, it will be given as I minus a inverse multiplied by y. So nimekuambia this formula now inatumika kama kumekuwa na mabadiliko in the final demand, ama the question or the only thing you are given these issues. Yeah. So let's start. I minus a. This one we know it is 1 0 0 0 1 0 0 0 1. That is what we call identity matrix. Minus 0.2, 0.3, and 0.4. 0.2, 0.4, and 0.2. 0.3, 0.3, and 0.1. Subtract those two matrices and give me the answer. You have gotten what? 0 points? 0.8, then hapa. And here again, negative 0 points. And the others, So I believe that you should be able to do that. Then after doing that, sasa unastahili kuendelea. You see there's a 3 by, what you have got there is a 3 by 3 matrix. you get the inverse. After the minus, the cofactors, the determinant, the adjoint. So, because your maneno tumesoma, for now tutaandika on solving, we get I minus A inverse is equals to 1 out of 0.216. The adjoint is the matrix that is already given there. Is 0.48, 0.39, 0.30. We have 0.24, 0.60, 0.24, 0.24, 0.33, 0.42. So when you solve, that is so the new y we are told is going to change. The manufacturing increase, no, agriculture increases by 1,000. You see, agriculture here was 10,000. So if it goes up by 1,000, it will be 11,000. And then manufacturing falls by 500. So hapa itabaki that 9,500. And mining remains. So mining is 30,000. So this one is that 9,500. That way. So then we can come here and say our x, we can still remind ourselves the formula. It is I minus A inverse multiplied by y. I minus A inverse, you multiply by y. So now that we have everything we require, we just come here and say 1 out of 0.216. I have 0.48, I have 0.39, and I have 0.30. Then 0.24, 0.60, 0.24, 0.24, 0.33, and 0.42. You multiply by matrix Y, which is 11,000, which is 30,000, and 39,500. Now multiply and give me the answers. Multiply that and give me the answers. I know that one you should be able to do. What are the answers that you have gotten? 101.66 0.67. Huyo mwingine umepata 5. Na huyo mwingine 0.67. Good. So that is how you go about it. That what we have done is called forward process. Now I want to show you the backward process. So in the backward process, what you do is the opposite of what we have done. The opposite of what we have done. The opposite of what we have done there. Now, as I told you, the total output here will always be equal to the total input. So here, this will be 11666.67. This will be 163. 541.67. This will be 125. 416.67. The final demand is this one that we already have used, 11,000, 30,000, and 39,500. If you remember what we did in getting matrix A, tulikuwa tunachukua the total in the first column, sorry, in the first row, and we divided the values in the first column. Whereby, nisome what we had gotten in that matrix, this was 0.2, and this was 0.3 and 0.4. Hapa tukapata 0.2, hapa 0.4, hapa 0.2, hapa tukapata 0.3, 0.3 and 0.1. Haya, sasa, if you remember what we did with the totals, when you are looking for the secondary, we added what we have here. So the same thing is done with the ratios. If you add this plus this plus this, that would be 0.9. And then you remember, we said for us to get to the primary here, tulitoa hii from this one. Now, when you're using the ratios, the total is 1. So the primary is what remains for the secondary to be equal to 1. So what remains here? 0.1. So that now if you add this to this, it gives you 1. If you come here, you do the same. That would be 0.8. The balance here is 0.2. When you come here, this will be 0.7. And the balance is 0.3. If you want now to go back to kina 20 what you do, remember when you are going forward, we divided. So when you are going backward, the opposite of division is multiplication. So we are going to multiply now here these values by this total, which is 101,666.67, 101,666.67, 101,66.67, 101,66.67, 101,66.67. And the same thing you do. I told you when you are in column 2, you will use the total of row 2, which is 163,541.67. Have you understood that concept? Sasa nataka utengeneze another table like this one. Ukijaza these figures and with the answers. That is what I want you to do. So here now I will multiply by which one? 125, 416.67. 125, 416.67. So get the answers while ujaze huku. Ujaze your table afresh. Then pick up from there.
class.
So labda kama mfano basi ndio nitao so tutaenda au mtu
yani kitu inaweza
sasa distract
nchi yako nyingine lazima
labda kupata chakula chao
hiyo kitu
nawe imekuwa ni drop
they are doing like one paper.
Oh, you already through. The other thing that you need to note is this table is a makeup of 3 threes, or this relative is a makeup of 3 threes. 3 threes. Now the first 3 is inside the cell. What did you get here? 20? Hmm? 0.34. That way. Okay, so that's sufficient. What I wanted to show you is this is the first 3. We have this value, we have this one, and we have that one. There are 3 values. Any question you get, we'll have given you 2 of those 3. You look for the other one. Remember, when we began, tulikuwa tumepewa ile 100 na 20. Tukaitumia kutafuta huyu. Saa hii nao tukitengeneza the mpya, tumekuwa na huyu tunatafuta huyu. So you'll always be given any 2, you look for that one. The second 3 is here. A plus y, x. So again there, you will always be given any 2 to get that one. If you remember what we did, we got these values, we added, we get this one. Who confirm whether this now, when you add them, are they going back there? We should go back there. If that is true, the next thing is here. Those 3 values. The secondary, the primary, and the total. Now, if you can understand this thing, the way we have gone forward and backward, then you can be able to handle any question on input output. You can be able to handle any question. So I'd like you to go and do the same thing with this question. And then after that, you do the questions that have been suggested there.